Hello everyone, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance that was third on my list for the subscriber's choice. It is none other than Le Beau Male by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Here is the fragrance. The bottle itself, it looks very similar to the other bottles from Jean-Paul Gaultier. The only difference is really the coloring. Other than that, it's got the iconic torso. It has pretty much the same little stopper that prevents the spray from going, and pops right on, pops right off. Either way, that's the bottle design. Now, the fragrance, I'm only going to list the actual, this is the 2.5, and this comes in, I believe it retails for around $64, so expect to pay around that much for it. This fragrance was recently released. It's a brand new release, relatively. I believe this March of 2013, so it's only a couple months old on the newer side of the fragrance spectrum. The creator of this fragrance was Francis Kurkdjian, who is pretty much the same creator of the original Le Male. He also has his own house, Maison MFK, or Maison Francis Kurkdjian's. He's got some other ones, some of the ones that I love, Aqua Universalis Forte, etc. So I kind of had high expectations going into this one. But before we get into that, let's cover the notes for this particular fragrance, all right? The notes. At the top, we have wormwood and mint. In the mid, we have lavender, orange blossom, and sage. And for our base, we have musk. Now, very simple ingredients that are essentially for this. And I have to say, I was reading a couple comments, actually a bunch of comments regarding this fragrance and what people thought of it. And a lot of people said that it didn't smell like Le Male. Well, I have to disagree on that. I think it does bear a great resemblance to Le Male with some very, very, very key differences. To me, this is Le Male Ultra Light. This is Le Male with a lot of ingredients that are actually missing from it. So for example, and it makes actually a very big difference in the way this comes off. Le Male, to me, is one of my actual favorite scents that has grown over time, that I've begun to love even more and more and more as time has gone on. And one of the big reasons is because of the strength that it projects, even as time goes on. 8 hours into it, as you expect Le Male to be gone, it's still going strong. This, on the other hand, no. What you get when you spray this, you're going to get a very minty blast with a bunch of lavender and some other florals that are kind of mixed in from it. Right now, the minty blast and the lavender is really what reminds you of Le Male, but the comparison pretty much stops there. It's missing from Le Male, or as comparison to Le Male, what it doesn't have the cinnamon, it doesn't have the vanilla, it doesn't have the tonka bean, it doesn't have the amber, it doesn't have those spicy notes like the cardamom, stuff like that. All of that is gone from this fragrance, and you're left with only the mint and the lavender, which at the top comes off pretty fine, but that only lasts for around 20 minutes, and after that, that minty freshness, that blast kind of goes away, and it begins to take on this lavender, floral, musky type of a scent that, for me, lasts about maybe 2 hours and then it's gone. So this is a fragrance, and even while it's lasting, it's not really projecting. So people aren't really smelling you as you go across and go through it. So when I say Le Male Ultra Light, that's what I mean by Le Male Ultra Light. Like Le Male having stripped out a lot of the things that made Le Male good, and you're presented with this. So in essence, and again, I hate casting aspersions or going off of assumptions, but if I was to take an educated guess, and I'm going to gather a lot of hate from this, especially from the company, is that it's just really a marketing gimmick. They stripped out a bunch of the ingredients and called it Le Beau Male or Le Male Light, whatever you want to call it. So I'm pretty disappointed in that. Again, minty blast, minty lavender blast, that does smell pretty decent going off, but again, as time goes on, it lacks rejection, it lacks the performance, and it just doesn't last on my skin at all, right? So that's pretty much what I get from Le Male. If I'm to actually advise on sprays for this, I would advise anywhere between 3 and 5 sprays for this one. 3 and 5, sorry, I got caught there. Anywhere between 3 and 5 sprays. Even with 3 and 5 sprays, it's not going to be an overwhelming majority thing that some people are going to smell you from a mile away. It's still going to be quite close, and again, after about 2 hours, it's gone. It leaves this floral, musky thing, and it's gone. Casual work fragrance is generally what I would say is the best time to wear this. Casual and work, but outside of that, I wouldn't really wear it to a date or special occasions, anything like that. It doesn't have that same, allure that the original Le Male actually does have. Summer, spring is generally when to use this because of its projection and because of its performance problems. It's best suited in the heat, when the heat will help project it, but even the heat is not going to do much to help with its performance. Now, as far as age group goes, age group is, I would say any age group can actually pull this one off. Mint, lavender, not really much else to say about this one. And finally, as far as ratings go, when people were able to smell this, now I did this in two different parts that are a little bit separate. Again, with 100 people who smelled it, 55 people liked it. Of the 55 people who liked it, they liked the minty freshness that came from it. There were 27 people who disliked it. The people who disliked it said that it was either too floral or it felt a little bit too generic, is also what they said. And as far as people who were on the fence or neutral, there were 18 of those, and they thought that it was pretty much nothing special and it wasn't bad at all, that it could be something that they could possibly see wearing, right? So the other thing that I wanted to test, obviously, was I wanted to make sure that it wasn't my nose that was getting performance issues for it. And when I ran around and had people smell me, they couldn't really smell me at all. They had to come up really close to my skin to smell, and then they're like, oh, there it goes. And they could scent it or smell it pretty decently after it was first sprayed, but anywhere after an hour, no. They really could not smell me after it. And again, 2 hours after that, after 2 hours, it's gone after that. So if I'm to give this one a rating, not very good. I have to give this one a 2 out of 10. Performance issues, it lacks. It doesn't have that same good smell, in my opinion. It smells good, really good. It smells good for about 10, 20 minutes in that initial blast, but even that just goes, basically. It sort of reminds me of Pure Shot, but even Pure Shot I actually think is better composed than this one. It seems like when people do minty fragrances, or when companies do minty fragrances, they can either do them the right way or the wrong way. I think Roadster is a great example of a minty fragrance. There's Healy's fragrance. Forgot what the minty fragrance, Mint Fresh or something like that. Yeah, there's a couple of minty fragrances that do it right. I don't think this one managed to do it right at all, though. 2 out of 10. I would suggest if you are looking for a minty fragrance that isn't going to last too long, if you're looking for something that is going to kind of be in the background, take a look at this one. Something that's going to be, a little bit more on the floral side, but even though it has florals, it's not really a feminine. I wouldn't classify it as a feminine type of floral or type of a scent, right? On the flip side, it is a little bit expensive for what you're getting. You can, in that same price range, I feel that you can purchase a lot more summer fragrances. I would even suggest going with, the generic summer freshness fragrances rather than over this one. So not a very good rating. I don't really recommend it, but in all cases, try it out. You might like it better than the original Le Male. If the original Le Male was too strong for you, if you felt that it was too aggressive, take a look at this one. This might suit your needs, all right? So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free. Send me a message, let me know, leave me a comment down below. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and have a great day. I'm going to close this window.